you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the and let's go to the
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's hunt now! Let's hunt now! Let's go! Let's hunt! We ready! And let's go to and let's go to
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how we the Miami Heat of football. Yap. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin strap. It's embarrassing. Yap. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them. He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man. You ought to make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! We ready! And let's go to and let's go to it's a wrap. Game over.
Oh, no, this game is not over. In fact, it is just getting started, and it is another fast break edition of The Lunch Break, powered by JM&E and broadcasting live on BS3. That's right. We're on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. If you got a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV, and you'll thank me later because they got great programming, great shows, and in fact, I'll be on another episode of The Forecast. That's four brothers plus myself talking about different movies. In fact, the one that we're going to do is called 13th. So that'll be coming up in July. I'll be keeping you posted on that. But I had to come on and get it in. Again, fast break edition. The Golden State Warriors are the 2022 NBA champs. They got it done last night, overcoming an early double-digit deficit to beat the Boston Celtics 103-90 and claim their fourth title in the last 8 seasons and their 7th overall. That's what I use to check Golden State Warrior fans. How many titles do they have? And if you can't tell me the right number, I know you're a Johnny-come-lately. But anyway, they have been a mini dynasty. I ain't giving them big dynasty because when you look at how many Boston has, you look at how many the Lakers have, that's a dynasty. You look at how many the Chicago Bulls have, that's a dynasty. They've got 7. They got 4 in 8 years. But again, they got it done last night. And I can't be mad. I cannot be mad. Boston turned the ball over way too much. And I got to say it. Jason Tatum, what did I say? What have I been saying all week long? He had to play the game of his life, and he didn't. You don't get to play less than your best and win championships. So, hey, it came down to it. Golden State got it done. Boston did not. Golden State wins the series 4-2, won it on Boston's home court. And of all people, Steph Curry was named the Finals MVP for the first time. I remember Andre Iguodala got named Finals MVP in that first one. I think Kevin Durant got named Finals MVP in that second one. So, again, they've got Steph Curry finally got one. Golden State also won on the 7th year anniversary of them winning that 2015 finals and championship. And that was pre-Kevin Durant. That was Splash Brothers and Draymond Green and Andre Iguodala and them cats, man. That's when they were just all gas, no brakes. And again, 7 years later, they get their first NBA championship. And again, They did it without Kevin Durant. I'll let that marinate for a second. I'll let that marinate for a second. So Golden State 2015, Golden State 2017, 2018, and then again in 2022. So what can we say? What can we say? The Golden State Warriors are the NBA champs for 2022. And I know I got people still coming for me because I made the statement that there are teams that can win the championship and not be the best team from that season. Listen, you can argue with me all you want. You can argue with me all you want. Phoenix won 64 games. Miami won a lot of games in the East. You know, again, Golden State Warrior fans might have seen Golden State win the championship, but most folks had other teams in the NBA Finals, and most folks had another team as the NBA champion. So, again, I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to take away from Golden State's big win. They got it done, and here we are. So, what I want to do is just, if you got comments, if you got things that you want to say about them, hey, get them in. Go ahead and go off, especially if you're a Golden State Warrior fan. Go off. I was dead wrong. I had Boston winning this series because of their defense and their versatility on offense and because of their coaching. And I got to give Steve Kerr credit. Steve Kerr pulled it together. Steve Kerr and his staff pulled it together, a la Mike Budenholzer last season with the Milwaukee Bucks several times throughout the playoffs. They found something that they could exploit. They caused Tatum to have far too many turnovers. In fact, Jason Tatum is the first player in NBA history to have 100 turnovers in the postseason. Let that sink in. In his postseason career, Jason Tatum is the only player to have 100 turnovers. You can't win like that. And Boston has not won one since he's been on the squad. He's young, 24. They'll be back. They'll have another shot. All folks saying that the windows of Boston's championship runs are closed. I don't believe that. So we'll see. We'll see where they go from here. But right now, it's all Golden State. And Vegas has spoken. They believe that the Golden State Warriors are the favorite to win it all next season. I don't know how I feel about that. Let me get to the line. And let me see. Let's see. Golden State. I'm looking. Bear with me. I should have had it already. Man, Golden State 21-0 in Game 6 win. They went on a 21-0 run to get that win last night. Okay, here we go. Vegas has Golden State as the team to beat next season at plus 500. They've got the Brooklyn Nets at plus 600. I don't know why Vegas is so in love with Brooklyn. I know Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That doesn't get it done for me. That doesn't get it done for me. Again, Vegas knows best, they say. Vegas knows best. So let me keep reading. Brooklyn second. The Boston Celtics are third, and I believe that's accurate. Milwaukee Bucks are fourth. We'll see. They got some adjustments to make. Chris Middleton doesn't get hurt, we might be having a different discussion. Don't at me. I'm just saying. I'm not making a big deal about it. I'm just saying. At number 5, the Phoenix Suns. They got to fill that big hole if DeAndre Ayton leaves. Number 7, the LA Clippers. Number 8, the Miami Heat. Number 9, Philadelphia 76ers. And number 10, the Memphis Grizzlies. So let me do them again. Golden State 1, Brooklyn 2, Boston 3, Milwaukee 4, Phoenix 5, Clippers 6, Heat 7, 76ers 8, Memphis 9, and the Dallas Mavericks would make it 10. Interesting. to say the least. All right, let me take a break. It's the fast break edition of the lunch break. Be right back right after this.
Hey everybody, we have an announcement to make.
We sold out. We told you we were gonna sell out, and you missed it. It's your fault. It's your fault.
We are officially sold out.
Sold out.
Sold out.
How long I been saying it? How long I been saying it? We finna sell out. We said, hey, I'm watching. It happened. We sold out.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, broadcasting live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3. If you got a Roku streaming device, download BS3 TV. You're going to find a lot of great programming, including the lunch break. All right, just looking at some of the things after the game. Jason Tatum says he does not expect that he's going to need shoulder surgery in the offseason. He got hurt before game 3, game 3, he got hurt. Before that, he was averaging 28 points per game, 45% shooting. And then after that, it dropped down considerably. So, again, I'm not making excuses for, for Boston. Definitely not making excuses for Jason Tatum. 13 points last night, 6 of 18 shooting. I said it. If he didn't have the game of the series, then they weren't going to win. But, man, when I look at what Golden State did, Golden State was balanced. 34 from Steph, 18 from Wiggins, 15 from Poole, 12 Clay, 12 Green. In fact, Draymond almost had a triple-double. 12, 12, and 8. That's the Draymond Green that, they needed. That's the Draymond Green that has helped them along the way. So that's what they got. I can't be mad. Like I said, I was thinking Boston was going to win, but I can't be mad that Golden State did what they needed to do to come back from a 2-1 deficit. What's interesting is, again, 7 years to the date from that 2015 championship. And again, they were down 2-1 there. They were down 2-1 and won it in 6. This time down 2-1 to Boston and won it in 6. So Golden State, man. And Steph Curry was very emotional. I can't show the clip because I don't have the rights from the NBA Network, but Steph Curry was very emotional after the game, talking about what this one meant to them, and talked about that this team was built for a 10 to 11 year run. And this is their 4th chip in 8 seasons. So he believes that there's more in them. A couple of years ago, they had the worst record in the NBA. A couple of years ago. And now here they are sitting on top of the NBA as the NBA champs. Let me say this also. They got hot at the right time, man. They got hot and healthy at the right time. There were times during the regular season where it looked like it wasn't going to happen. Looked like it wasn't going to happen. There were times during this playoffs when it looked like, Steph was injured or Draymond or Clay wasn't going to be able to get it back going. But, man, that's where Wiggins stepped in. That's where Gary Payton II stepped up. That's where Poole stepped up. That's where other guys stepped up until their stars could get back to where they needed to be for them to win this series. So, again, we got to give credit to a team that got it done by any means necessary. They did what Boston didn't do. Boston didn't get it done by any means necessary. Boston kind of lived and died by Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum was not the facilitator last night that he was when his shot was not there a couple of games ago. 13 points, 3 rebounds. He had 7 assists, but, man, you got to do more than that. You got to do more than that. Jaylen Brown, 34 points, couldn't do it by himself. They got 19 and 14 from Al Horford. They didn't get anything off the bench. They got 5 points off the bench. 5 from Williams and 2 from White. Ball game. Your bench players are supposed to play better at home than on the road. And Golden State's bench outplayed Boston's bench. Boston is young. They're going to learn from this. Ime Udoka and Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Williams, Big Williams, the big center, they're going to learn from this. They're going to learn from this, and they're going to be back. But Golden State ain't going anywhere, not anytime soon. I don't think they have any major contract issues that they got to figure out. I don't think anybody's talking about leaving to go join Kevin Durant and them in Brooklyn. LeBron kind of dropped a little hint that he might want to go to they're in San Francisco now and play for Golden State. That would be interesting. But, again, I don't see any major changes with the Golden State Warriors. So what that means is it's on everybody else. Get your game up. Get your game up. You got to get your game up. If you don't want to see Golden State back in the championship circle, if you don't want to see them hosting the trophy, if you don't want to see them back in the NBA final, get your game up. Get your game up. Don't want to hear the yeah buts. Don't want to hear the yeah buts. Get your game up. Steve Kerr made the adjustments he needed to make. Draymond Green made whatever adjustments he needed to make. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, they made the adjustments. Kevon Looney, they made the adjustments that they needed to make. And I might have given Udoka too much credit too soon. He's still one of the better in-game adjustment coaches, but he got outdone when it was all said and done. Just like I said, he was handing it to Steve Kerr early. Steve Kerr got it back on track with his squad, and they are the 2022 NBA champs. So now, what happens from here? NBA-wise, what happens from here? Who challenges Golden State from here in the West, and who challenges Golden State from here in the East? Again, according to Vegas, Boston is one of the teams that will be back. Brooklyn supposedly is going to get it all together. Still a lot of question marks there with Ben Simmons. Still a lot of question marks with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Can those guys stay healthy? Can those guys stay healthy? Can they finally put it together? Can they get their mentals together where they're on the same page for the majority of an 82-game season and win 16 games in the playoffs? If they can't do that, then shoot, they anybody else. They're anybody else. Milwaukee's got to make some tweaks. Milwaukee's got to make some tweaks. And when they do, if they do, then I believe they'll be there. Miami, Jimmy Butler needs a little help. Tyler Hero, Robinson, they fell off. They were not who they were a couple of seasons ago when they went to the finals in the bubble. Weren't the same team. All right, got to get ready to take a break, and then we'll get ready to wrap it up. Again, it's the fast break edition of the lunch break, powered by JM&E and broadcasting live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. Got a Roku streaming device? Download BS3 TV and thank me later. All right, be right back right after this on the lunch.
Hey everybody, we have an announcement to make.
We sold out. We told you we were gonna sell out, and you missed it. It's your fault. It's your fault.
We are officially sold out.
Sold out.
Sold out.
How long I been saying it? How long I been saying it? We finna sell out. We said, hey, I'm watching. It happened. We sold out.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break, Freestyle Friday, powered by JM&E and streaming on Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV. If you got a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV. I'm telling you, you're gonna and click on the other shows. There are a lot of them, and they're good, very good. You just saw the lineup. They got a very good lineup. So be sure and check it out. Brother's doing a great job. Ben Sutter III, King Doc, and many others. So check them out. All right, getting ready to wrap it up, heading down the home stretch on this fast break edition of the lunch break. So now we got the, going to see what happens with the NBA draft, going to see what happens in free agency, going to see which teams do what they need to do to get better. Teams that I'm watching in the West, of course, Phoenix, see what they do with the DeAndre Ayton situation. Man, the New Orleans Pelicans were legit and expecting Zion Williamson to sign a max deal to go along with all that young talent that they have, and got to give a great job to Coach Green that he did with that young team. I'm looking for big things out of New Orleans. They're one of my dark horse teams. Also trying to see what's going to happen with Memphis. Going to see what happens with Memphis and what they're going to be able to do. And man, say what you want to say about them, but Minnesota was that dog during the playoffs. They got some young talent up there that's going to give people some trouble. I ain't trying to give no love to Pat Beverly. I'm talking about legit trouble with that Minnesota Timberwolves team. And then what's Dallas going to do? You know, Dallas made a deep run in the playoffs, and now they've picked up a big who can score. So we'll see what they can do with the Dallas Mavericks. Other teams that kind of like on the outside looking in, the San Antonio Spurs, what's going to be up with them? That'll be very interesting. Utah, the new head coach going to come in there. Who will that be? And what will they get out of those guys that their previous coaches have not been able to get out of them? So there's some teams that are really going to have to make the next step. What are the Clippers going to look like when Kawhi Leonard comes back? big questions there. Over on the East, it's Wild Wild East, if you will. It's Wild Wild East. There was so much parity in the East this season. Will Philadelphia finally take the next step? Will Miami be able to get over that hump? They've been to the NBA Finals a couple of times in the last few seasons. Can they finally get over the hump? Will they bring somebody in that will give Jimmy Butler consistent help? Y'all say what y'all want to say about Jimmy Butler, man. That dude is the dog, not a dog, the dog. So we'll see what happens there. And then Boston, Milwaukee, it's going to be very interesting. Atlanta is one of those teams. They're mediocre during the season, and then they make playoff runs. So, can they get it together during the longevity of the season? Are the Knicks, what are they? What are they? A couple of years ago, they were the number 4, number 5 team. Last year, they were, a disappointment again. So, a lot of things to be answered question-wise. And then, of course, we're getting close to NFL time. Had a little craziness go down all off of Kirby Drive and Fannin. The Houston Texans had a staff member attacked when a 40-year-old woman had to be arrested for trying to get into the Texans' practice and assaulted that staff member. What in the world? That we don't have a whole lot of details on that, but that feels like some, dare I say, some child's mother drama or jilted girlfriend drama. Something. Texans might not have Deshaun Watson drama to deal with, but they definitely had some drama going on yesterday. Texans going to open their preseason August the 13th at home versus the Saints. And then the Cowboys going to open their preseason August 13th in Denver at 8 o'clock. There's a published report out there that says Mike McCarthy is practicing the Dallas Cowboys too hard. How sway? I mean, come on, man. Let's get it in. Let's see what we're talking about, all right? All right, Astros will be in action later on tonight. They're going to host the White Sox over the weekend. First pitch tonight just after 7 o'clock. Framber Valdez will be on the mound for the Stros. We'll see how they'll follow up that big 9-2 win where they had not one, but 2 immaculate innings. We'll see if they can get that done. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Hey, guess what? It's Father's Day weekend. So to all the fathers out there, happy and blessed Father's Day. Man, fathers, listen to me. We don't get enough credit and recognition. I know. Oh, deadbeat dad ain't don't see the kids. Listen, fathers, I honor you. I honor you for being the father you are. Period. You were chosen to be the father of your children. Not talking about the execution, not talking about the consistency. I'm talking about the fact. Happy and blessed Father's Day to you. Sisters out there that want to wish yourselves happy Father's Day because you've been doing all you can for the day. Baby girl, give us a day, please. Can we have a day? Listen, let me tell you how it works. You got Christmas, you got New Year's, you got Valentine's Day, you got Mother's Day. All of them are y'all. Can we please have 24 hours? Y'all can get it back after that. It's also Juneteenth. It's also the Independence Day for Black people who were in slavery, and 2 years after Abraham Lincoln declared that all slaves should be freed. Leave it to Texas to ignore it and act like it didn't happen. 2 years later, they found out that they were in fact free. In fact, I'm doing a poor job talking about it. I'm going to go, and on my way out, I'm going to play a clip from AL.com where I feel like they've done a phenomenal job talking about Black independence or Juneteenth. All right, y'all. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There is nothing you can do about it. But meet us here on Monday for the HBCU Stroll with the coach, Johnny Cole. All right, y'all. Blessed and safe weekend. Happy Father's Day, all you fathers out there, and definitely happy Juneteenth. All right, I'll be back. I'll be back on Monday.
Hey, everybody, we have an announcement to make.
We sold out. We told you we were gonna sell out, and you missed it. It's your fault. It's your fault.
We are officially sold out.
Sold out.
Sold
How long I been saying it? How long I been saying it? We finna sell out. We said, hey, I'm watching. It happened. We sold out.
Some of you may not be aware of this, but America actually has two Independence Days. One celebrates America's freedoms from Britain's rule. Another holiday, Juneteenth, commemorates the day when the Union General came into Texas and gave an order that actually ended slavery. Now, you may be going to yourself like, wait, didn't the Emancipation Proclamation take care of that? And my answer to you is this. You actually thought the Confederate States obeyed the law. Okay, sure. On January 1st, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln declared all slaves held in Confederate states to be freed. But that news never reached the Texas slaves, and there's many theories as to why. Maybe someone literally murdered the messenger that was sent to Texas to inform them. Maybe, in typical Confederate fashion, they withheld them information from the slaves. Some historians believe that since the Civil War wasn't over yet, that the lack of Union Army presence in Texas made it hard for Lincoln's proclamation to be enforced. Nonetheless, it was cotton-picking business as usual in Texas despite the proclamation. Some slave owners in neighboring states moved their slaves to Texas because they thought that the Confederate Army would eventually win the war, and when it was over, they could get their property back. So when Union General Gordon Granger rode into Galveston, Texas with Union soldiers behind him, and he saw all of these slaves, he decided to make an announcement on June 19th, 1865. First off, a proclamation was made from the president to free all these slaves 2.5 years ago. Second off, you are no longer slave owners and slaves, you are employers, and those are your hired workers. Some slaves dipped out of there before Granger could even finish his announcement. Other slaves decided to go and leave the state so that they could repair their families that were torn apart from the slave trade. Others decided to flee up north. And they lived happily ever after, right? No, of course not. By law, they were free men and women. But in reality, they were enslaved by oppression and violence. Black bodies still hung from the branches. Some were even shot for their freedom. But freed men and women wanted to celebrate that they were just that, freed. They created a holiday that was originally called June the 19th, but then it was kind of squeezed together and now it's Juneteenth. When they wanted to celebrate the first annual Juneteenth, segregation laws forbade them from using public spaces. Okay, that's fine. We'll celebrate near rivers and lakes. They dressed in the fanciest clothes so they can combat laws that required them to wear raggedy clothing. They ate barbecues, sung spirituals, preached religious sermons. Strawberry soda was the drink of choice, and they also ate a lot of red fruits and desserts like strawberry pie and red velvet cake to commemorate the blood that was spilt during slavery. These rituals still occur in today's Juneteenth celebrations, whether it be parades, cookouts, or 5-day festivals. And since whites didn't want to share their own spaces with blacks, the blacks decided that they would raise their own funds for their own celebration sites, such as Emancipation Park in Houston, Texas. So as the former Texas slaves decided to migrate across the country, so did the importance of Juneteenth, which is also known as Emancipation Day or Freedom Day. In 1980, Texas was the first state to declare Juneteenth a state holiday when state offices are not closed but partially staffed. So far, 45 states have recognized the historical significance of Juneteenth. Guess what? Alabama wasn't last this time. Alabama was the 40th state to do so, but it didn't get the same paid state holiday status as Confederate Memorial Day or Robert E. Lee Day. There's also a national campaign to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. Whitewashed textbooks didn't, and still don't, mention Juneteenth. Because of that, a lot of people are still finding out about Juneteenth. So whether you found out about Juneteenth decades ago, a few weeks ago, or even just now, don't worry. There'll be plenty of cookouts, parades, and festivals to celebrate the resiliency of the Black community. I'm Star Denigan with Reckon. If you like what we're doing, please follow Reckon by AL.com on Facebook or Twitter. You can also subscribe to our newsletter by going to AL.com/Reckon. Thanks for watching!
Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Friday, June 17th, 2022. Happy Juneteenth weekend, everybody. Number 1, Saturday, June 18th, Mrs. Opal Lee will embark on her annual 2.5-mile walk to recognize the 2.5 years it took for the news of freedom to reach all enslaved people in the United States. June 19th, or as we know it today, Juneteenth, commemorates the date that slaves in Texas were told of their emancipation, more than 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. For decades, Mrs. Opal Lee led walks of 2.5 miles, bringing attention to her now very successful National Holiday Campaign. Number 2, a 2017 study from the Pew Research Center indicates the majority of reported gun ownership is still mostly white men. The sale of guns to Black Americans, however, rose 58% in 2020, the year George Floyd was murdered, according to the National Shooting Sports Foundation, a firearms trade association. It was the highest bump in gun sales of any ethnic group that year. Further, in the first quarter of 2021, another NSSF report revealed that 90% of gun retailers reported a general increase of Black customers, including an 87% increase among Black women. Number 3, after 5 weeks of declining coronavirus deaths, the number of fatalities reported globally increased by 4% last week. In its weekly assessment of the pandemic issued Thursday, the UN Health Agency said there were 8,700 COVID-19 deaths, with a 21% jump in the Americas and a 17% increase in the Western Pacific. The WHO said coronavirus cases continue to fall, with about 3.2 million new cases reported last week, extending a decline in COVID-19 infections since the peak in January. Number 4. Dallas, Texas police are under investigation for the death of a Black transgender woman who died after police arrested her, put her in a spit hood, and loaded her in the back of an ambulance. Shocking body cam footage shows police approaching LaDamian Dwayne Hall on May 26 after getting calls that she might be intoxicated in public. Officers placed a spit hood on Hall, a device used to prevent someone from spitting or biting a cop, as she was loaded into the ambulance, but it appears that she was struggling for air. 30 minutes later, Hall was pronounced dead in a hospital emergency room. Number 5. According to data from LendingTree.com, just 2.4% of U.S. businesses have Black owners, even though Black people represent almost 13% of the U.S. population. But thanks to the rise of Black women-owned businesses, that number is on the rise. Look no further than BuyFromABlackWoman.com. Buy From a Black Woman is a nonprofit that serves as a resource for Black women in business. This month, actress Tracee Ellis Ross will use her influence as the 2022 ambassador, bringing more awareness to the nonprofit. Read more about it in today's What You Need to Know newsletter. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Life is a series of choices. Choose to be respectful. Please join me Saturday afternoon for the North Texas Juneteenth Festival at Fair Park for the presentation Woman's Caregiver Pavilion, Menopause, Sleep Deprived, and Dementia, brought to you by the Black Alzheimer's Brain Study. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.